Administration comes under office. See, in this problem, they have not given individually. Abnormal idle time, as I told you, 2500, excess provision to depreciation 1500 are non-cost items. So it is what? As per this, works overhead, as I told you, unproductive manufacturing. Only two you got. Along with that, last column, remember, these things we ignore. We take only these numbers. Hello everyone, this is your Adarsh, lecturer in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the 9th session, almost your end of your cost sheet. Now, in today's session, we will work out, as I said, cost per unit. Normal problems already you understood, but cost per unit, how to calculate. It is nothing complicated. Whatever you have calculated, if number of units given, you are supposed to divide. Now, so in this session, we will work out how do we go for cost per unit. In today's session, we will work out for cost per unit kind of problem. Your agenda is very simple. Problems on cost sheet. Now, this is your problem number 6. Almost we completed 5 problems on cost sheet. Now we are in problem number 6 of your cost sheet. Now, as per this, following information are extracted from Sadhana Limited for the year ended 30th 6 2016. Now, as per this, these are the informations we have, particular as well as rupees. Now, opening stock, it is there, raw material, work in progress, finished goods, stock, raw material, work in progress, finished goods, purchase of material, carriage on purchase, direct expenses. First, what we will do, we will classify which comes under prime cost, factory, office, as well as selling. Now, as per this, your opening stock we have. These are all we call it as opening. Now, raw material opening stock, it will be prime cost. Work in progress will be what? Work in progress comes under your factory, and finished goods will come under your office. You know all this. Why? Because I have explained you in the last 2 to 3 sessions. Now, these are your closing stock. As you know, closing stock has to be added or subtracted. Yes, it has to be subtracted, minus. Now, raw material, work in progress, finished goods. So, raw material, prime cost, work in progress, factory, finished goods, it comes under office overhead. Hope you understood up to this. Now, purchase of material. Purchase of material, how do we calculate? All the purchase of material comes under prime cost. Your purchase of material, direct expenses, direct wages, all comes under your prime cost. Then, carriage on purchases. Carriage on purchases also comes under prime cost. Direct expenses comes under prime cost. Almost except these 2 or 3 or 4 information, everything belongs to what? Prime cost. Now, the next thing, productive wages and unproductive wages. Remember, do we have anything about wages? No. Now, productive means what? Direct wages. Unproductive wages means what? Indirect wages. The person who involved in the work of production, we call it as productive wages. Improductive or unproductive wages, it is nothing but these are your indirect. So it comes under where? Factory. This will be your prime cost. This will be your factory overhead. Then manufacturing expenses. Manufacturing comes under factory. Administration comes under office. See, in this problem, they have not given individually how much for rent, how much for salary, like that. Individually, they have not given. They have given like which are like direct administration, direct selling, direct manufacturing. They have given directly. Now, selling and distribution comes under selling and distribution. Abnormal idle time wages. Where do we consider think? Where do we consider? Whether it is in prime cost, factory, office, or selling. Remember, this abnormal idle time is not part of your cost sheet. The abnormal idle time is your financial expenses. Now, what do you mean by abnormal idle time wages? What do you know about idle time? I'll explain you. Very simple. Now, for your 5 mark theory, you may expect what is idle time. Now, normally what happens? You're working as a manager or works manager in a company. Now, what is your timings? Morning 10 o'clock, you're supposed to log in. What is your log out? It may be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is your working time. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is your working time. How many hours you are working? 10 to 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are working for 8 hours. You are working for 8 hours. Now, out of this 8 hours, in between you will get 1 hour break for your lunch purpose. So, it may be 1 hour together or else half an hour, again 15 minutes for your snacks or some other kind of breaks. Now, just assume that out of this 1 hour is your refreshment. In this, you can go to your all your personal works, your food or your snacks, your coffee, tea, everything, your rest, everything included in that 1 hour. So, effectively, how many hours you are working? Out of this, effectively, you are working for 7 hours. Up to this, any doubt in this example? No. Out of 8 hours, 1 hour, we call it as a normal. That is called normal idle time. Where do we have? Yeah, idle time. This 1 hour, we call it as normal idle time. Normal idle time. That 1 hour, if you don't take that 1 hour, you cannot work effectively. Can you work effectively without having lunch? Can you work effectively without having break? Even though your journey is from one place to another place, in between you will take 10 to 15 minutes break. Why? Because you have to go effectively. Now, that 1 hour we call it as normal idle time. Hope you understood what is idle time. Unproductive time we call it as idle time. But this 1 hour we call it as normal unproductive time because everybody must have this idle time. Now, 1 hour they have given break. You gone for lunch outside. Some function was there, your friend marriage or somewhere. Going itself half an hour, coming back half an hour. Again the lunch and wishing everything. It took around 2 hours. 1 plus 1, it is 2 hours. How long did you take? 2 hours. Now, out of 8 hours, you spent idle as 2 hours and effectively you worked for 6 hours. Now, earlier it was 1 hour idle time. Now, extra 1 hour you have consumed. Clear? That 1 hour is for what? Some marriage function. This 1 hour we call it as normal idle time. This 1 hour we call it as abnormal idle time. Hope you understood. This extra 1 hour, whatever provided by company, 1 hour, whatever you have taken extra 1 hour, this extra 1 hour we call it as abnormal idle time. Hope you understood. Now, so this is all about your abnormal idle time. This is your financial item. We will not consider under your normal calculations. Now, excess provision for depreciation. Excess provision for depreciation. This is also your financial item. We will not consider. Any doubt? No doubt. So we done with everything. Production during the year 2000 units. Number of units is mentioned. Earlier in the previous type of problem, the number of units were not mentioned. That's why cost per unit, the extra column we were not using. But in this problem, number of units is given. We are supposed to calculate cost per unit. How to calculate? I'll tell you. Statement of cost, statement of profit, you are supposed to find out. Have they given any sales value here? No. So we will find out, it is easy. Now, so we'll come for this. This is your solution part. As I told you, your element of cost, your rupees, total cost, and the last column is cost per unit. As I told you, what is the number of units you have? So we have to mention that number of units. Your number of units as per this 2000 units. How many units we have? 2000. All the calculation goes along with 2000. Now, as per this, I don't take much time on these things. Why? Because you know already. Now, raw material, add purchases, carriage inward, minus your closing and cost of material consumed, you will get. For that, productive wages and direct expenses. In this question, they have not given direct expenses. They have given productive wages. See, direct expenses given directly, but direct wages they have mentioned as what? Productive wages. Remember, productive wages also called as direct wages. Now, up to this we done. What did we get? We got your prime cost. Now, so we got your prime cost. The total answer 1,81,500. Now, what about your last column? Last column, remember, these things we ignore. We take only these numbers. 76,300. What is the number of units? 2000. How to calculate? 76,300 divided by 2000 units. You got similarly 60,200 divided by 2000 units. 45,000 we have. Similarly, 45,000 divided by 2000 units. Everything we have to consider, but we have to divide by how many units? 2000 units. Hope you understood. Like this, we are supposed to calculate. Now, so we calculated these things. We got these answer. Your final answer is 90.75. Hope you understood. Your final answer, you can add these things or else you can take 1,81,500 divided by 2000 units. Still you will get around 90.75 as your answer. Any doubt? No doubt. Now, up to this, hopefully there is no doubt. I'll go back to question. You have to take a screenshot of question so that you can also work out along with me. This is your question part. Your continuation of your question. Your solution part 1, what we did up to prime cost. Yes. Now, we'll continue with the prime cost. Once you're done with your prime cost, what is the next step? The next step will be your factory overhead. Now, I'll go back to question. We'll see which are the factory overhead. All comes under prime cost except you have work in progress. You have work in progress. Opening work in progress, closing work in progress. Opening has to be added. Closing has to be subtracted. Do you have anything about factory? Yes. We have unproductive wages. We have manufacturing expenses. And okay, we have only 2 plus 1. Total we have 3. As per this, works overhead, as I told you, unproductive manufacturing. Only 2 you got. Along with that, opening stock minus closing stock. Finally, you get this answer. How much is your final answer? Your work cost is nothing but 2,11,350. How much is your work cost? 2,11,350. Now, what is your last column or final column? Simple. 33,000 divided by 2,000. Everything divided by 2,000. Remember, everything like 2,14,500 divided by 2,000. Why it is 2,000? Your number of units are 2,000. You are supposed to mention your number of units are 2,000. Similarly, 28,700 divided by 2, 2,43,200 divided by 2,000, 31,850 divided by 2,000. Your final answer 11,000. 11,000 is what? Office and administration. I'll go back. Office and administration overhead, you got 11,000. Now, we'll consider 11,000. Your answer will come around 2,22,350. What is your final answer? Your final answer, you got 2,22,350. 2,22,350 divided by 2,000. What you will get? That is 111.18. Up to this, any doubt? No doubt. Hopefully you understood. Up to this, we call it as cost of production. Now, we'll move to the next one. Your elements of cost, that is nothing but your selling and distribution. Before that, we have opening stock of finished goods, closing stock of finished goods. See, cost of production you got, then opening stock of finished minus closing stock of finished. You got cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is how much? Around 2,28,100. Now, finally, what we'll do, we will add your selling and distribution 15,000. You got 2,43,100 minus, not minus, these two I'll come back later. These two I'll come back later. Now, up to this, how much you got? 2,43,100. Then last column, what we should do? Very simple. Everything divided by 2,000, 2,000, 2,000 and as well as 2,000. Nothing much, no changes. Everything, you know, the number of units is 2,000. Everything should be divided by 2,000. Now, what about your profit and what about your sales? Now, see, the adjustment is given. Quantity of opening stock of finished goods, closing stock, finished goods and sales are not given. So, normally what happened, they will change the unit also. Earlier it was 2,000. At the time of finished goods, it has become to 1,900. Then, up to your sales, up to your finished goods, we should calculate for 2,000. Later, we should go for 1,900. We'll do problems on that. You will understand better then. Assumed to be the quantity. So that's why they have not mentioned anywhere the number of units. So everywhere we consider 2,000 as a number of units. During the year, abnormal idle time, as I told you, 2,500, excess provision to depreciation, 1,500 are non-cost items. So it is what? Excluded. These are not considered as your cost item. Now, we'll talk about your sales as well as profit. Now, these are the information you have: material, purchase, carriage, direct expenses, productive, unproductive, manufacturing, selling and distribution, abnormal, excess provision or depreciation. So, production during the year 2,000 units and they prepare statement of cost, statement of profit. So, sales has to be mentioned. Sales has to be mentioned. They have not mentioned. I'll add additional adjustment. Additional adjustment for sales. Sales 2,80,000. In the question, they will give 2,80,000. So maybe it is missed out. I have added. What is the sales now? 2,80,000. Now, as per this, if you mention your sales is 2,80,000, 2,80,000 minus 2,43,000, what is your formula? Profit is equal to sales minus cost. Sales minus cost is equal to your profit. What is your sales? 2,80,000. Right? 2,80,000. What is your profit? 2,43,100. 2,43,100. 2,80,000 minus 2,43,100. How much did you get? You got around 36,900. 36,900 is your profit. Any doubt? Hopefully there is no doubt. What is your final answer? 36,900. 36,900. How to do your last column? Last column, whatever you got it here, same thing you are divided. You have to divide by number of units, that is 2,000. So then you will get your cost per unit. See, your 2,80,000 divided by 2,000 units. How much you got? You got 140 per unit. Hope you understood. Yes, this is all about your cost per unit calculation. I'll go back to your answer. So up to prime cost, you already taken the screenshot. There is a next step up to cost of production, your sale of finished goods, your note nothing but your 2000 units, and depreciation as well as the additional provisions not part of your cost sheet. So this is all about your today's session. In the next session, we'll do one more problem on cost sheet and we'll wind up with this particular topic. Thank you.